Yeah, and with the Grimstroke picked up, of course, it feels like it's going to be a 4 Grimstroke and given over to Sladen. I was thinking maybe they would want to pick up something like the Centaur War Runner, just have that escape plan, because right now they have two options. Either pick up a hero that's capable of dealing with the Tombstone and allowing you to stick around in the fights, or pick someone that helps you get out if something goes wrong with your Tiny, and I think that's far more easier to pick up in these next two picks, but at the same time, they're kind of keeping us guessing here. I'm thinking again the Brood would be interesting, but with Grimstroke, I feel like that's not a combo. I don't think that they could run that any longer. I guess the Tide is still around if they want to go for something maybe a little bit more all-in-y, but we're still picking up more and more strength heroes to play versus the Undying. It's starting to get in that ugly territory where I'm scrambling to think what Infamous are going to want to actually pick up for Oscar, because it's not like you can pick LC, I don't think, versus these heroes, because otherwise it's gonna get soul ripped. It's gonna be really hard to kill. I don't know, and they don't know either. And here we
They
go. Here's the
are
pick. Oh,
there. I'm wondering if they actually got that off in
I
time.
think
It
they
hit triple
randomed.
zero.
No, they randomed. I'm like
Oh boy.
90% sure that they just random Skywrath Mage.
Oh yeah, especially if it's the Skyrath pick. But I mean, I guess listen, if the game had to random you someone, the Skyrath can do damage, but now that's almost irrelevant because what do you do now with your actual positions? The Skyrath doesn't really fit into what this lineup was supposed to be. So I I'm actually so surprised, ET, that that happened. That is a mistake that really you can't have happen in this sort of setting. You
Oof.
run out of time and there's the Kunkka. So it goes from bad to worse if you're Infamous. You end up with a Skyrath Mage when you may not have wanted it, and now you have to go against a Kunkka that your lineup really doesn't have great answers for right now.
No, and I was really thinking it's like if they would have to go for the Centaur, then maybe they would pick up Rubik instead of Grim. As soon as the Grim gets picked, I'm like thinking what could be a strong laning partner for it. And then a part of me was like, maybe they just pick Beastmaster of all things, try to have the inner beast for the Tiny and have a little bit more attack speed to play with when it comes to killing the Undying Tombstone. But I really think that that was just unfortunately, a mishap in the draft because yeah, now they need a lone hero that's gonna kind of do everything for them. They ban out the Monkey King, which is interesting. I know that Alone has played it in the past in patches where I don't think anybody's played it, but the Faceless Void is immediately directed over at Alone, or at Lumiere rather. And does that mean they would send the Tiny mid versus the Dark Mega Kunkka? I mean, that's not a bad lane, but Thunder Awaken is one of the most dangerous teams to draw with. They're in that same vein as for Zoomers, where if you're drawing with them, then they want to draw, and if you're drawing, well, they're getting exactly what they want. And well, let's see what they go for. And I guess it's
Ursa.
gonna be Lumiere Ursa to try and fix it all, because this is rough. At the very least, hey, Grimstroke, is it gonna be offlane Omni? Maybe offlane Omni, and then I still think
Uh,
they've random the Skywrath Mage, but at least they saw. I mean, the lanes kind of work now. Kind of. You get the Grimstroke Ursa combo. That's a strong lane, especially versus the Snap. But Omni Sky, that is not laning together with any cohesion. I think that was that's still a little bit of a black smirt on their report card. But well, we'll see what Thunder Awaken pick now because they're looking for Picasso's hero.
right, yeah. The weirdness of the Skyrath aside, Thunder Awaken just say, okay, you know what? You guys do whatever it is happened there. We're gonna focus on us, and I mean, they focused well. Kunkka with their 4th pick, now the 5th for Picaz. They can not quite get away with anything, I would say, but there's so much more room now for their carry pick after the potential Skyrath Mage random. So where do they really want to go? They ran the Luna the last time around. Do they want something like that, or maybe they look to put Picaz on something a little faster, something that can fight a little bit earlier on, maybe take advantage of the fact that Thunder Awaken's lineup kind of looks like it's just going to be able to push into Infamous when it wants to.
I think PA.
Hmm?
Yep. Well, there you go.
It's very good.
Perfect. Really, really well-rounded lineup from them. I mean, they needed someone who could kill Roche very naturally. A part of me in the dark depths of my heart was like, oh, maybe the Cuspix Gyrocopter. That'd be fun. That'd give Infamous a little bit more of a shot here. But The PA, of course, need to praise the hero. Just having the Blur versus Ursa forces Lumiere to go for that MKB, and that is the kind of countdown that Lumiere has to play around. He has that blink defusal timing, in which case he can kill every other member of Thunder Awaken. But then it becomes all important whether or not he gets an MKB in time to actually take out Bakaz. In that same vein, I think that Infamous, they're much better at actually killing that Aegis, getting that Roche, and we'll have to see what the contestation looks like. Unfortunately, Ursa going into the pit whenever there's a tombstone on the field, Lumiere's always going to have to be running at that tomb. And hey, he's got overpower with the attacks. He's actually able to bust it out. But I think that's where Infamous, they really got to give Lumiere a good game. If him and A can really just bop the top lane, put Sacred on the back foot, then that's going to be a fantastic start, because otherwise the plays, they're going to be few and far between. In the mid game as well, Slade in alone, they're going to constantly be together. They need to be attached to the hip. That's where all of your burst damage is going to come from. They can shut down Bakaz even a little bit. That'll make their game easier. It's the type of game where every play that Infamous make that works out just makes their game 10 times easier to play. And then hopefully, following the picks, they can actually get some objectives.
And to be honest, with the way that this one has worked out, with Oscar being put now onto the Omni Knight, obviously you're not the Death Prophet that he was last game, but you can still fulfill a somewhat similar role in that you can maybe be the anchor around which the team fight is centered. Even if you are not doing much damage and aren't really the primary focus, you can sort of keep enemies away from the heroes you need to protect, but also sort of push forward and provide that cover for some of the other heroes who aren't nearly as durable. So, like I said, it's not the Death Prophet, but Oscar knows at this point, I think, what he needs to do, and it may not have been the hero he wanted. Still kind of suspect about that Skywrath pick, but they have to deal with it. They have to try and make the most of it, and we'll see if they can get themselves a win in a 1-1 split, even with the unintentional sort of self-sabotage, I guess.
And hey, hero got buffed. Does more damage. Does a bunch more damage actually, especially with its first two skills. But at the same time, it's still a huge concern. At the very least, lane versus a PA. Hey, you're gonna have a whole bunch of stick charges to play with if you're Sladen, and that's even more mana to beat into you. Uh, at the same time, got to be careful because you are playing versus Undying. Have literally zero armor, so if there was ever an opportunity for Picasso to just jump on top of you, you could die if you're just sitting at way too low HP. And oh,
What
they're
a
gonna find
wrap
a lone
around,
first.
all the way around, trying to get onto a lone. Got to deal with multiple slows out from Affliction and Sladen. It looks like they're actually not going to commit for a lone. Instead, they'll just take the easier kill. Quick and easy first blood onto your Skywrath. Quick and easy. There we go. Maybe not quick, but they do get it. Picasso is going to be able to pick up first blood, and well, the long, long wrap all the way through the north and west side jungle does eventually pay off.
Yeah, and I am interested to see. Yeah, I think because he gets the first blood, because is actually going to immediately go for the Orb of Corrosion, which is going to just allow him and Panda Buddha to play that much more aggressively on Oscar and Sladen. Until he gets it, though, they definitely need to be careful, because Purification is a pretty incredible spell when it comes to trading out, as well as Concussive Shot. But yep, here's the Decay, there's the Slow. Sladen's got to be so careful. That's a sell.
They know that the Purification isn't available. They can just straight up ignore the Omni Knight right now and go directly after that Skywrath Mage, try to punish him up. So, like the play from Thunder Awaken, but if Sladen can maintain the separation and not fall into that sort of trap too many times, well, he's still going to be annoying. It's a Skywrath Mage, right? He does Skywrath things, but gotta walk that sort of fine line. Really would love to just get away with the tangos and the wand charges as opposed to the salve, but thought Picasso was coming over for the fight. Instead, he's just coming over to take the money for the war.
Yep. And the more money he gets pumped into him, again, once he gets that Orb of Corrosion, everything gets real scary for Sladen. As well as I can only imagine we might see a jump here on the level 2. I'm a little bit nervous. We'll have to see. I think because is one creep away. And without this range creep dying, yep, really well played from Oscar there. Keeping the creep alive, just aggroing off so that way Sladen could actually walk away. It's the little things, but without that, they don't have any attempt.
You see the PA didn't even bother skilling anything up at level 2, knowing that the moment had sort of passed. So hold the skill point. If you aren't looking to be aggressive, then a point in Phantom Strike is Not particularly useful right now, but we shall see what he chooses to actually go with, because he continues to hold that point, and while he does so, starting to see Sladen maybe not posturing aggressively, I would say. That's maybe not the right word for it, but looking to be more active, even if that's not necessarily damage. Before, he just sort of got blindsided by that initial push onto him, but since then he's been recovering nicely, although as I say that, he is going to get into a little bit of trouble here. They're even going to throw the tombstone down. That purification does come through for the heal. That should be enough to keep him alive, but after Awaken, they are not shying away from conflict right now. That is a hefty price to pay, though. Tombstone down for a long time.
Yeah, and isn't going to get farmed up yet. That would be the only mistake here, is just to let Sladen approach and then right-click it a few times, but that's why Pakaz hovers around while Hanbu gets the stack going for him while blocking out that large camp. Doesn't want to mess with his creeps really at all here. I do believe we do have the orb coming out, so Pakaz is going to have some more aggressive potential, but at the same time, that's where Omni Knight, being a much less selfish hero, just is able to really give the aggro away, and then he's already got the chainmail, so he really isn't going to be the target here unless Sladen just leaves him alone. Meanwhile, bottom, oh boy, some big trades.
Into a little bit of action there. Affliction dropped low, but he will fall back. He pops the salve, and it's actually all he has is top lane. Okay. Sladen gets taken down. They didn't have the tombstone this time around, but it's able to do the damage because he's trying to bait Oscar further in. He's got 14 charges on that wand, but fairly certain Oscar knows that he's not going to chase further forward himself, especially with no mana. So they don't get the further bait, but they get the kill onto Sladen. So us trying to find what pickoffs they can here in this lane, and Phantom Assassin, well, didn't get both of those kills. That's slightly unfortunate, but 1-0-1 with 18 last hits and now farming underneath the tower and solo farming at that. It's pretty good.
Yep, and meanwhile, Dark Mago adds the TP refill. Sladen being incredibly obnoxious, and okay, nice steal for Pandaboo.
Nice
Oh, and he's out.
tombstone.
Yeah, walked away.
Roche just, what the hell are these zombies doing in my pit? Just gonna smack them around a little while, but yeah, that is big. If you lose Kunkka there, Dark Mago is obviously not going to be able to, is not going to be able to recover from it, but would have been a rather sizable setback. Instead, Kunkka can just sort of sit in this lane for a little while longer, and that bottle refill on alone doesn't really work. Now you see he's actually just going to have to go all the way back to base, so not only does Dark Mago survive, he stays in lane, whereas the Tiny has to back off.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, unfortunately, you know, being a very low armored hero in the Tiny, you just eat so much damage from those Tidebringers. But yeah, bottom, I think, used the cookie before, and do they keep going? Lumir doesn't want to risk it. He doesn't have a overpower for, I think, a second too late, so they just walk away. But that's the lane they need to win. That's the lane they need to continue to find success in.
That's just a combo that worked out well. They get the Inkswell down onto him, and to his credit, Matthew did try for the nifty play with the side fist to dodge it, but wasn't able to actually do so as alone. He's going to get jumped in on now. Matthew, okay, he dies, but then immediately TP's in. So often we see this from the position for supports in general, but Matthew in particular helps set up for the kill. It does get split between the two, but still a fantastic maneuver alone. If you sort of take a look at what happened to him over the last minute or two, fails to get the kill, has to go back to base, TP's back up, and then dies.
No, it's a really rough start for him, and of course that play doesn't happen if he is closer level-wise to Dark Mago, but that's also where Dark Mago is just an absolute monster. He's just farmed so much faster, and because of how much faster he's farmed, that's why they get the kill, really. And, well, alone, he makes the walk of shame. He's back mid. Sladen's chilling out here as well in case there is another attempt on his life, but, man, now you've got a haste rune bottled up on alone, or rather on Dark Mago, so once he wants to, he could just head over towards that Ursa's lane if he wants to try and strike him before he hits level 6 himself, but we'll have to see. Dark Mago does love his creeps, though.
All up in the top lane. Thousand Panda able to push the Omni-Knight away. He has to go back to the base, so this rotation coming in from Sladen and alone is going to be one man short. Might still go for it, depending on what they think they can find here. As the bottom lane, Affliction got jumped in on, but they're still making the move if they can get the kill. But no, the Soul Rip is going to be there because lives. It's not going to work out while down in the bottom lane. Lumiere did not give up on the fight after losing his support. Able to push it onto Matthew, so they at least get something. But now here comes a very fast Kunkka. Very fast and very angry at the death of his friend. He's going to look to push in. Damage, though, not great because of the Enrage, but once the Enrage wears off, they've got it. They hit him up with the Scatter Blast into the cookie. And lasts a little bit longer, but now, yeah, Affliction, you don't really want to be here. Mortimer Kiss is coming through. Dark Mega with the haste still was able to sidestep the Inkswell stun. They will pick up the double for the Kunkka, and, well, not what you were hoping for Infamous. Multiple moves across the map, and really none of them went your way.
I don't know how many times I've seen Sacred do this, where somebody comes to his lane, he gets a kill, immediately gets level 6, and then just kills the 5 with his Mortimers. It's just played out in pretty much every game I've seen him actually go for the snap. And what a cookie,
man,
on the Lumiere.
Just too
this
damn
man's
good.
Nice. He's fine. He's real fine. And Dark Mega never left. So
Lumiere.
Lumiere.
Oh, that was a close one.
Okay.
The X is still there, but they don't have a boat this time. Hold on a second. Cookie's up in 2. No, okay. Not going to get that crazy with it, but that is such a nice play. Like we said, too damn good on Sacred. Rather than cookieing himself and potentially just getting jumped in on by the Urshock, he waits till the creep wave arrives, gets the cookie to stun Lumiere, and then just walks away like he was never in any danger at all. And would have been even cooler in terms of style points if they could have then turned and gotten Lumiere. Now, though, they're in trouble. Dark Mago, last time he stuck around, we sort of viewed it as a positive. This time, not so much if he gets finished off, but he's not dead yet. I think that last bit of damage, though, should be enough to finish him off. Oh, no, he lives. Still not taken down, so what level is... Oh, it's only level 1 on the Arcane Bolt. That might have been why. Dark Mago gets by on the skin of his teeth, and if you're Infamous, that one kind of, well, kind of sucks, because you brought multiple heroes into the lane. They'll look to Dark... Or not Dark Mago, Matthew now in the middle lane, but...
It was too late.
Man, just not hitting. No, that's optimistic.
Very hopeful.
Yeah. Guess worth a shot, but alone. This is the problem we look at now for the mid-tiny back when it was sort of more popular and now still applying. It's the same problem with a lot of these mid options, right? The ones that we talk about as being dynamic and playmaking heroes. Playmaking heroes need to make plays. I know, shocking, but if you don't, now look at where his net worth stands. Alone is last among the core heroes, so the movement, the failure to get too many kills here on the Tiny means that he is just very far behind. He's still looking. Matthew is going to sort of scout this one out to get silenced and slowed, but Panda's going to come in, dropping down the Tombstone. There's a Torrent into the Ghost Ship. This is just going to fall apart. They've lost 2 already, and Alone's going to get picked off.
Well, he tries for the Avatos on the Matthew, and it's just not enough. It's just way too appropriate. And again, Sacred just finds his way into the fight. Unfortunately, the Tomb goes down, and until Lumiere comes, that's why they picked up this Undying. There's just no good way to deal with it. And, well, that's another 3 kills that you really would hate to give up there. But the problem is, well, you need to make those plays. You need your Tiny to excel here, and he's going for the Blink Rush. And we'll see if Alone, well, is able to do something with it. But in the meantime, no phase boots, no wands, no real stats on the Tiny. He's really just looking to catch heroes off guard here, and he's trying to hide in the tree line. Maybe gets this kill for free, and he will. But you gotta keep on finding more. He's gonna have his Blink Dagger pretty soon, 300 gold now, but once he gets it, that's where everything is going to start to matter just that much more. And
Okay.
Dark Mago's here, but A.
They would rather just get the quick kill onto A if they can, but they didn't realize Alone was still here. Now he's going to make his move. Avatos into an Inkswell stun. Because, though, he's still not going down. Haven't been able to finish him off, and at this point, if you keep chasing, he's going to turn around. He may actually just turn anyway. Goes for the Stifling Dagger onto Oscar as the Omni shows up, but doesn't have a point up in the ult, so the GA can't come into play. Dark Mako finds a kill, and Alone still on the run. Good silence into the concussive shot slow, so they're not going to be able to continue the chase just yet, but they can't continue the chase onto the Tiny. They can absolutely run down Sladen on that Skywrath Mage.
Well, they're trying
Are they
for
still...
it. They're diving Alone.
Yep. Onto the tier 1 tower. TP from Affliction's coming in, but it's too late.
Dead. Oh, now do they look for A? Oh, no.
It's just an absolute parade of just clownery for Infamous. They can't lose this many heroes. Lumiere, no. I I don't really know if this is going to be good for you. Even if he gets the kill on the Panda, he is surrounded by heroes, but Oscar coming in. Okay. Now they're actually grouping up. The Skyrath will TP forward as well, and if they can catch Dark Mako, then all of a sudden, this looks a lot less terrible, but they can't catch up. Matthew there to make the play with the Searing Chains, and you get Panda, and you lose basically everyone else.
Yeah, and not just that, it's, I want to say, even more gold shifted because of just how many TP scrolls, but yeah, Alone's back in mid, and that's a DD on Pakaz. He's waiting for the Ava to go already, but they don't even need it.
They don't need
Look
it.
at that. Yep,
Kisses
and
come
Slayden,
through. Slayden, no.
Oh,
Slayden,
no.
don't run towards those. That is not good for you. He gets the silence down, but Sacred just needs the cookie. Yeah, there's the stun into the Scatter Blast. Slayden getting some help from Oscar. This may just be enough to keep him alive, but no, the dagger comes through for the slow, and that sets Matthew up for the Sleight of Fist. Now with Dark Mako, that may be a little bit too far forward, considering he really was out of abilities, but the Ghost Ship is now back up, so if they can bait Lumiere in, this could go poorly. Pakaz is just going to fall back, though. Not going to pull the trigger on that one just yet, but ET, we're starting to get into that rhythm that we often talk about with Thunder Awaken. They trick you into thinking it's a fight you want when you straight up can't win it, and Infamous have been baited into that exact scenario now 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and well, okay, you still have the poster boy, you still have Lumiere, he just finished his Diffusal Blade, so he's going to want to try and find really anything here. But I think Alone, he's also quietly trying to finish off his Blink Dagger. Once you have that, I think you can really start a lot of these engagements. But everybody is forced on the Infamous side to play up top, and it's just given so much space to the cause. And even though this is going to be kind of the typical 15-16-minute Battle Fury, well, hey, that's not too bad. And Pakaz has eaten none of these deaths, so level-wise, he is right up there with every other core, and that just feels so nice on the PA.
Yeah, it's not that the PA's Battle Fury is faster than normal, it's that all the cores on the opposing side are so much slower, so... Well, see if Infamous can get themselves out of this top lane, because Dark Mako is on the hunt. He is going to run into Lumiere. There's going to be the X. Panda throws down the Tombstone. Torrent comes through. They don't want to commit the Ghost Ship just yet, though. Actually, they may not need the Ghost Ship. They are still going after Lumiere. He's going to pop the Enrage to try and turn. Now we're going to see that combo come through. The X into the Ghost Ship. Lumiere does end up falling. Matthew was picked off elsewhere on the map, but that's not enough of a detriment to care. Now Alone, oh boy, Alone. This is going to be a risky one. He is trying to get in there, going on to Sacred. Can he get the kill? He's not going to be able to do so just yet as he's disarmed by the Halberd, and he is straight dead. No kill onto Sacred. Matthew's the only one that they pick off there, and again, yeah, Infamous thought that they wanted that, right? With Lumiere sort of pushing his way in, and no, you absolutely don't. By the time they realize that it's already too late, you're stuck in the fight.
Yeah, and really, now, those were really sad kills to give up, because Pakaz chases you. He TPs, he farms all of bottom, he TPs mid, farms all of mid, and then walks top to be part of that engagement. And now, I want to say Sacred is just continuing to do his job just so effectively. He has a Blink Dagger, the same timing that you have your Blink up on Tiny, but most importantly, with the way that Tiny is now, you can't just be a level 9 Tiny with maxed Avatos. You need to have level 12, so that way you get more of that damage bonus. Otherwise, you're not going to see those pops. You're not going to see those supports immediately die. Not to mention, well, the supports you're trying to kill are not normal supports. They're double Bracer Undying, and oh, they would love Panda Boot just for a little bit of a freebie here, but Sacred's also chilling. Okay, they will get that. They want more, but I don't think they're going to be able to reach anything, but opens up Lumiere to take the Roche Pit, and I don't think Thunder Awaken will be able to get in here fast enough, but they're definitely in the vicinity.
Well, they're going to try and go for the Grimstroke here quickly with that boat. Purification, though, does come through to keep him alive, whereas Matthew actually got taken down. He'll buy back, though, to try and rejoin this engagement, and well, Lumiere has come out of the pit. This is really all that Thunder Awaken needed from this play, but they might be looking for more because making his way over. They've got the X onto the Ursa. That'll pull Lumiere in. The Stifling Dagger comes out now as well into the Mortimer Kisses, but the Avalanche from Alone is going to cancel it out. So now Matthew, he's on the front line, but he doesn't want to be. Dark Mako, however, comes in. That's a nice torrent, keeping Lumiere preoccupied. And now they'll turn their attention onto Oscar. He's already thrown out that Guardian Angel, so he doesn't really have a whole lot to keep himself alive here outside of just the heal. The heal is useful, that's for sure, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep him safe as Pakaz goes back in, gets the kill, and now Where are we sitting health-wise on Roshan? 2/3 or so? Not sure if Thunder Awaken want to give this a try and push in, but looks like they're considering it. They do have a lot of armor reduction, ET, so they can get it pretty quickly.
Ooh, this could be an opportunity though for Infamous, and I think the backup is almost necessary, but you don't want to go on the
Oh
Kunkka.
boy.
You're just gonna have to leave after that, and oh my goodness, if he
Get
gets
the
the chains
vision.
here
He's got the
alone,
torrent into the chains, or maybe the other way around, but yeah, they caught him. The lone will fall. Lumiere, it's time to go. Gotta run. Get out of there. Oscar TP's in for the heal, and the Grace is going to be enough to get him away, but man, I mean, they're just so good at this, ET. Thunder Awaken, they go into the pit, right? Infamous see that. They say, oh, damn, we need to get in there. This is our opportunity, and Thunder Awaken just leave the pit, loop around, and then go in onto a Tiny, and now they've taken him out. The teamfight strength for Infamous is crippled.
yeah, and it's not like Infamous aren't taking the steps required. They're getting the vision advantage. They're placing their wards correctly. They're doing everything really that they can. They just don't have enough control to stop these Thunder Awakened heroes from just getting in and out of the fights. And that's where, as soon as the Enrage is committed, as soon as the Avatos is used, you see how fast they jump on these targets. And, well, the objective has not changed here. I think they can walk a little bit further away from the pit once they see Lumiere showing in the top wave, but any moment they know that the Roche is not a threat, Pakaz gets to farm. Pakaz gets to go to the other side of the map. He gets to feel safe. And, well, okay, Dark Mago might be dead.
Little too far forward on that one, as he does get taken down. That's a big streak that they take down as well. Monster kill streak brought to an end. A lot of gold, and now access to the pit, and you
Might
mentioned
give it up now.
Yeah, he's on the other side of the map. He could TP to the outpost, but without the Kunkka, they're missing, I think, too much of their team fight and lockdown.
They're poking, though, but this would be crazy.
Those kisses are doing a pretty fair bit of damage, though. Oscar may just go down as Sacred tries to get in. There's the Guardian Angel, but now Matthew jumping in with the Remnants. They would really love to get this kill onto that Omni, but he's going to be able to TP home. Looks like Infamous dodge a bit of a bullet there. No, they want to go back in. They get the Avatos down. They're going to take down both of the supports. A little too greedy, and Pakaz just wandering in a little bit, runs right past the bear. Not really going to pay for it all that much, but now Infamous might have an opportunity. They've got the Aegis in the bear's hands. The Ursa doesn't have to be afraid. Lumiere can play so much more confidently, although as I say that, he's going to get hit up by a bit of a combo here, but between the Enrage and the immediate heal out from Oscar and the Heavenly Grace even on top of it, really didn't do any damage at all.
Yeah, and it's the good punish for Dark Mago just venturing really into the small camp. I think that's all he was looking for. But at the same time, this is just to get them towards the next step. That was Blink Dagger finished on Lumiere as well. That was honestly Infamous at their strongest. They need to continue to play up-tempo. They need to look for more opportunities just like that, because that's what the Scarlet Mage provides. Him and alone have enough damage to really kill anyone that shows. They would love to make a venture down towards that bot side of the map, find Pakaz. I doubt he's not going to be without Pandabu, though, for really the rest of the game here. Almost a living ward in the bodyguard that's going to keep this PA farming. But that's where, if you're Infamous, it's also time to catch up on your objectives a little bit. They probably need to go top, just finish off that tower. If not, take a stab at the mid tower, but I think that might be a little bit too much in the current game state, as well as I think Dark Mago sending out, I believe, a full BKB. So now the question is, who are you killing? Ideally, you find Sacred. Sacred would be a stellar kill at the beginning of these fights, but Dark Mago, he might just kind of dangle himself here. Are you going to take the bait, though? No, they find Sacred.
The
Lumiere.
silence is onto him, though, so yeah, Dark Mago can't even get away. He's just in the line of fire. Sacred taken down first. Now they'll turn on to Dark Mago. That forces out the BKB. Meanwhile, Panda, well, trying for the flank. Sort of does the job, but there's not really a whole lot he can do without the other cores here. So Infamous very nicely played to sort of break that one up. As you said, they basically ignore the Kunkka after they hit him with the silence. They realize unless he's going to pop the BKB right here and now, we can just kind of walk past him and deal with him later.
Yeah, and, well, okay. You're an Ursa lineup. You got the kills. Still no building damage. You're not really good at that, nor will you ever be good at that. That's where alone might need to shape out your lineup a little bit more. But hey, important kills, and most importantly, coming from these kills, XP to your supports, to your offlaner, something that you haven't really been able to do because your heroes aren't really the best at hitting creeps. So keeping that snowball going is going to be the name of the game here, but that's where Thunder Awaken looking for the entry here. Finding Oscar first honestly isn't that ideal, especially if they don't have an Orchid or a Silence. He just is able to purge it off, but
They caught Dark Mago trying to join the fight.
again,
Instead, they're going to cut him off. And Mystic Flare is down. He doesn't have his BKB for 5, so he might just get taken down. They lose him right away. Thunder Awaken at least make a jump onto the two supports as Mikaz is able to find those 2 kills, but they're looking for more. Matthew wants to jump forward. They're going to try to get onto Oscar, but Lumiere goes in. The Guardian Angel is deployed, so Panda is quickly chopped down. That might just force both sides to retreat here. Sacred had to use the Mortimer Kisses defensively. Don't think they're going back in for more. So, on the one hand, if you're Infamous, you lost your 2 supports, but you got yourself a big kill onto the Kunkka, and now Mikaz... No, okay. They had Mikaz out of position for a moment, but he's able to use the Phantom Strike to just get back on his side of the river.
yeah, and this is where the pecking order becomes all important. You need to find, I think, Sacred first, and then Infamous can really take a confident fight, but Thunder Awaken are always going to be looking for these supports, and if Oscar's imperfect, and as I say that, Sacred, well, there you go. That's your free kill. He just stuck around a little bit too long, as well as I think just the daytime vision betraying him a little bit there, and okay, what do they find here?
X, Torrent, will go ship. Not
Walk
gonna
away.
commit fully, and yeah, they're just going to be able to back out. Nice try from Dark Mago, but if you're not willing to commit all in with the go ship, that's just not really going to happen. So, Infamous have done really well for themselves now, and this Aegis is going to start timing out in about 15 seconds, but even though Lumiere did not have to use it, it gave them really a lot of what they wanted. They were able to take fights with more confidence, and they're still trailing by 8k, but you feel like they're starting to build themselves up a little bit more, in particular that Tiny. His start was so bad. The fact that he is even remotely relevant right now is fantastic for Infamous.
Yeah, and the idea that we're even looking at what feels like maybe 28-minute BKB, Malone's not really skipping a beat anymore. Wonder if he's going to stop for the Ags shard, maybe along the way just make his life a little bit easier considering he didn't finish his tread, so attack speed's not really the nicest right now, but this is a lot of control that Infamous have been able to claw back just a little bit more here. There is still a problem, though, a looming problem, that, of course, being the PA, farming with the Battle Fury on the other side of the map. Pakaz is also not messing around. He is immediately going for a Nullifier, so, well, any of your Ghost Scepter ideals, and only Slayton has one queued up, but you know that Affliction wants one as well, and, well, those supports are even weaker, and that's still based on whether or not Oscar can find that perfect timing with the GA. But mid, again, Dark Mago, he has to be so careful, but he is just the defender of this mid tower. He is not going to let Infamous take it for free. That's why Infamous, I think, are struggling right now to find their next play. Roche, everything gets easier whenever the focus is on the pit, but until then, they're not really adept at taking and dealing with these other objectives.
Yeah, this is going to be the just constant sort of nagging issue for their lineup. They really just can't get onto those buildings when they want to. It's still just the ones here, one tower that they've taken. Holy crap, Lumiere! That's a hell of a jump across the river. Sets up alone to get the kill with the Avalanche. Toss, not quite as impressive. Dark Mago did not really move all that far. Now Dark Mago wants revenge. He's going to get the X into the ghost ship. That sets up the Mortimer Kisses. Sladen will go down, and now Oscar, he's going to get rooted up as well. He hit himself with the Grace, so he's not easy to bring down there, and it looks like Thunder Awaken don't want to go any further than that, but very quickly able to trade things out there. Support for support, and we will reset.
Yeah, and really, it's those resets that we have coming in, and okay, Lumiere poking in this river. This entire fight, I feel like it's almost been a 10-minute brawl in this mid-river area where no one is really finding the time except for because it feels like Thunder Awaken, even though they're not playing at that same aggressive level, they're respecting their opponents a little bit here. They're keeping so many heroes in mid that Pakaz is just continuing to accelerate, and I'm getting a little bit nervous here because that's Nullifier done. That's a lot of damage. That's a level 20 PA as well, and he's got the Blur Evasion talent. So now Lumiere has that horrible decision that he has to make, and yeah, he's looking at the MKB. Once he gets it, perfect. That'll force the matchup to be even yet again, but until then, Lumiere himself can't really afford to fight, and in mid, they jump without
They
him.
don't
Lumiere's
have the
gone,
damage.
and the
Dude,
GA's purged.
I know. You can't. You just can't do that. They made a similar mistake in Game 1, ET, the fight they took without Lumiere that really just sort of handed momentum back to Thunder or Awaken. They may have just made the same mistake twice. Triple kill for Pakaz, 4 dead in total. The only person who didn't die was the only person who really needed to be there for that fight to happen. And now, yeah, Thunder Awaken into the high ground. Infamous, they may have just handed all that momentum back.
And they lose it on their own soil. So this is easily going to be 1 Rax here. The Tiny can't really do anything to get back. He disassembled. He's got a BKB as well. They were really gearing up for that fight, but the jump from Sacred, as well as just because following up, having the Nullifier to purge the GA, just nothing they can do. And Lumiere, though, look at that. Stole the Roche. Really good timing. Yeah, if that Roche was not available, then this game could have sank into another lull where suddenly, well, Thunder Awaken are just going to fight for that next Roche pit and drag you out. And, oh, even more, Lumiere going to get the nice kill on the Panabu, but at the same time, you really wish that Lumiere would have been able to be there for that initial engagement. I don't know if the jump was so good that he would have been able to do anything, but I still think that would have made it look a little bit closer. And hey, got that mid tower finally, but we still need to see a little bit more here. Lumiere's trying to flip the script, though. He's really trying to keep his head and his team in the game here.
Yeah, I mean, under the right circumstances, Lumiere alone could pull his team back into this one, and the Aegis in hand certainly does lean towards those right circumstances, but they're going to need to find some targets here, and they're going to have to make sure that they're not playing afraid right now. You just lost nearly a full lane of Rax, and yeah, that very often sort of pushes the team back into a more defensive position, but if you just sit back and wait, well, as impressive as this Ursa is, you're going up against a Battle Fury PA. You're not going to win that farming race, so gotta try and do something here. 100% sure what it's going to be at the moment. Do they have any smokes? No. Cool down for a little bit, so they've got such limited options at this point. They kind of have to maybe wait and see if Thunder Awaken come to them, and that's kind of happening. They've smoked up, they've pushed in, but Lumiere, he got that MKB. This could be bad if Thunder Awaken don't account for the Ursa's position, but that's pretty easy when he's alone in the top lane. Now they'll make the jump. First Life should be taken down pretty damn quickly. Maybe not. Lumiere's being pushed away, but he's disarmed. Not going to be able to do any damage, but the GA is at least helping him out. It's just not going to be enough. First Life down, Sladen in trouble. Mortimer Kiss is coming through to take the Skywrath Mage out of the fight. And now Lumiere desperately needs reinforcements. His teammates are trying as best as they can, but that Nullifier just keeps removing anything Oscar's throwing onto his buddy. Lumiere desperately trying to get away with that Earthshock, but the crit from the dagger will take him down. The Ursa's gone with no buyback. Oscar now will pay for, well, I guess really just trying to help out his buddies as he will fall. Affliction will die alone, now gets caught. That is a triple kill. This Nullifier, ET, is the purchase of purchases. He's thrown it out, I think, like 6 or 7 times now over the last 2 fights, and it's just too useful. It makes Oscar one step away from useless.
Yeah, and, well, unfortunately, it just causes the entire fight to speed up, which is not what Infamous want. They want to get dragged out. They want you to use all of your spells, and the patience from Pakaz to let his teammates handle it. Him and Alone were sitting on the sidelines of the fight waiting for their jump for such a long time until Alone is forced to go in, tries to save Lumiere. It ends up not being enough, and, well, again, Infamous lose the fight on their side of the map, and ooh, is he just going to be straight up dead here? Pakaz is doing some greedy stuff here, but he still has BKB. Can't get Alone comboed and actually tossed back, but that's an Ember. I think he's going to be fine. Ooh.
I think he might still be dead here. Yeah, he is going to go down, but of all the heroes to lose, I think you're okay with that one, considering you're able to clear out 2 lanes of Rax, although Pakaz, he's got to get away. The BKB doesn't get activated. He's just straight dead. That felt so avoidable. BKB and you are pretty much out of there, but instead he waits a little bit too long, and if you're Infamous, there's some sort of silver lining there. You get a lot of gold for that kill. You're still holding 1 lane of Rax down bot. It's not going to be easy by any means, but there is still hope. They're still alive.
Yeah, they get about 4 times the amount of XP that Thunder Awaken did, and, a little clowny. Some nice tossbacks from alone to really start off any of that, but you're completely right. You just BKB walk away and, well, your team kind of follows you out, but the problem still persists that even though you get these return kills, it's just gold in your pocket. You're not really progressing the game state at all. Meanwhile, it sucks that Pekaz isn't going to be farming for the next, minute and a half, but that's where his teammates are also just going to start picking it up. There's going to be an Ags pretty soon here, and jumping.
Okay.
Looking for Dark Mago, but immediate halberd.
They get the halberd off. They throw the invis onto him. Now they'll turn on Sladen. There's those Mortimer kisses coming in from the back line again. Not really actually doing a significant damage to anyone other than Sladen, but they will get that first kill. Now you need to be careful. Keep an eye on that death timer for the PA, because if you can get Pekaz back into this fight and keep Infamous in the area, things could turn pretty quickly, but they're going to lose some heroes in the meantime. Matthew gets taken down. He'll quickly buy back, though, but Dark Mago has fallen as well. That is the far more valuable kill for Infamous, and Lumiere is standing pretty strong here. He's able to take down Panda. Now he'll turn his attention on the Sacred, but Pekaz comes in, able to hit him with the Fan of Knives for the break. Lumiere trying to hold his ground in this engagement, but I don't think he's going to be able to survive. He is dishing a hell of a lot of damage out, but it's just not enough. Pekaz will win that one with some help from his friends, and Lumiere is on the deck for 80 seconds.
Yeah, and both Alone and Oscar would have wanted to stay in that fight, but the tombstone placement is just perfect from Pandaboo, and as soon as they're just covered in zombies, there's no way they can stick around. They would have been just more heroes to kill as soon as Pekaz went in. He probably would have looked to kill them first, but with how much damage Lumiere was doing there, almost wish they just tempted fate, maybe hope that the tomb would have timed out in time, but it's still just really sad to see Lumiere die in that kind of circumstance. Would love to see, while their waves are out right now, if Infamous smoke up S4, just try to find the Phantom Assassin, kill him, while really, he still is pretty hurt. He doesn't have any health regen, he doesn't have a Satanic just yet, or anything lifesteal-wise to keep him back to full, but at the same time, Infamous are also scared. They also don't want to give away what they currently have, but big items, that gold is kind of coming into effect now. I think BKB still long away from the Ursa, but Sladen, he's looking towards an Ags, and he's only 400 gold away, and we've seen what the Skywrath Ags can do and how it can turn games.
Yeah, the Ags could make a difference. If he picks up the shard on top of it, then all of a sudden a position 4 Skywrath starts hitting you pretty damn hard in these fights, so there is a path forward for Infamous, especially now that Lumiere is going to be back up and available for this fight, just as Thunder Awaken are trying to smoke their way in. So do Infamous know this is coming, and can they respond? That is going to be the key question. I'm sure we have an answer to it just yet, as they are just falling back to the base, not willing to get caught out, but they might get caught out anyway, because of Affliction. Yeah, he's trying to dance around the kisses, and he did a pretty solid job of it. The problem is that means he's further out of the base than he was at the start. So Affliction will get taken down. Meanwhile, Pekaz actually went all the way in looking for Lumiere, wasn't able to get the kill. Now Alone tries for the Avatos combo, can't actually get the toss back though, and he's got to retreat while under the power of his own BKB, but these are starting to wear off. Meanwhile, Lumiere didn't make it back. Pekaz jumped onto him. Fan of Knives deployed, will get the kill. No buyback on the Ursa. And that might just be it for Infamous. They're going to lose Oscar as well. His buyback will come into play here, but I just don't know that they have the damage to take this any longer. They get a toss back onto Sacred, but that's not really the hero who was causing you issues. Sacred's even just going to buy back himself and TP to the outpost. But yeah, I think this one's over.
With 500 gold on Lumiere's buyback, it's a really sad way to die, but okay.
Hold on.
He's going to go down, maybe?
Can they save him? No.
No.
Dead with no buyback. Can Thunder Awaken continue the fight? The Torrent Storm is going to come out.
He's trying to end it. He wants out of this game right now. He needs a BKB though.
Down to half HP. He's going to pop that BKB, as you said, just hacking away at it. Will it be enough? 1,500, dropping now to 1K. Dark Mago trying to attack walk even to get this, but it's just not enough yet. The Ancient's still standing, 500 HP remaining, but the Thunder Awaken heroes, they're not dead yet, and they're going to get it, ET. They lay out everything to get that final hit, and they do it. Look at those HP bars. They were pretty damn low. To get the job done, Infamous just can't break through. You really did need Lumiere there to have the damage.
And it really just poses the question, if Lumiere has another minute to farm up buyback. If he has just one or two more creep waves, then what are we looking at? We're looking at Thunder Awaken throwing away everything. Roche was about to spawn. Like, that game had, I feel like, a good another 10 minutes of life left in it. It's just not having buyback for just that one instance. Not like he was even buying out. He just wasn't able to find another creep wave after those team fights. He just wasn't able to find another place to farm. And man, the Tiny in Sladen just barely had enough gold. He didn't have to sell anything either to get that Ags, and then suddenly the game looks really sketchy for a few seconds there, but they get it. They get the victory. Oh boy. Up until that point, though, it did feel like Thunder Awaken really were doing everything they wanted. They were setting up a cause, and for such a long time, it did feel like it was just going to be their game. But and Lumiere, he tried his best. He was really, and at the end of the day, him not having buyback being the reason they kind of lose that last engagement, it's almost poetic because he was the only reason they were in the game in the first place.
Yeah, that's 100% true. If people are gonna dog on Lumiere at all, they're only in that situation because he is literally dragging them further ahead because they were in a bad way for a lot of that game, and it was only the Ursa that allowed them to turn any of those fights. So, okay, yeah, his mistake cost you, but if it weren't for him, you don't have the opportunity to make that mistake anyway. So, can't blame him too much. And at the end of the day, he was like 300 or 400 gold short of that buyback. Just that little bit more, and maybe we're looking at a different game. But as it stands, Thunder Awaken, they pull through. The Phantom Assassin doesn't rush, gets the items that you need, and that was the damage. It was really kind of the same issue for both teams. When their carries weren't there, they didn't actually have enough damage to win straight up fights against each other.
No, but hey, they do it. It feels good. I think everybody felt pretty happy with themselves, if I'm being real. And hey, a nice 2-0 for Thunder Awaken. And again, the team's struggling to prove that they can take games off of it. It's just sad because with how game one ended up turning around Infamous, they definitely had what looked like a game plan here. And bring it back all the way to the draft. Will we ever know if it was a random? We didn't ask. You don't
True.
propose that question to them, but they shot their shot and they didn't hit this time, but we'll have to see if we do see these teams go against each other again come playoff.
Yeah, if these two teams match up, then it is going to be a good one. Really, any of those SA teams right now sitting in the top half match up pretty well against each other. This time around, though, it is Thunder Awaken who get that 2-0. They now join the 8-win club, which consists of, I think, basically half the teams in the field at this point. So they move right into that top tier. Infamous still in that area as well, despite the 0-2 loss here, just missing out on an opportunity. But that is going to do it for today's matches. 4 best of 2s in the books, and folks, we are getting really down to the final opportunities for all of these teams. We've got 2 days left in this group stage, Sunday and Monday. So for these teams running out of time to really separate each other, I think tiebreaker rules are something like head-to-head and then a tiebreaker formula, the name of which I will not attempt to pronounce because I think it's something in German, but I don't know if they're going to necessarily just play straight up tiebreaker matches. So at this point, the points might matter. Who you get a 2-0 versus a 1-1 will absolutely matter. And we are going to get down to some high stakes stuff over those final 2 days.
Yeah, and especially coming up, the Infamous versus Hikori game, that could very quickly be Hikori getting from first place to dragged down immediately and then surpassed by the rest of the teams gunning up behind them. It's a very scary position to be in right now as your games are kind of dwindling. And unfortunately for Infamous, they're right up there. They're in the 8-win club. They're only 1 or 2 away from each other, but very quickly that match could decide whether or not they make upper bracket.
Yeah, this is just getting kind of crazy at this point. With Thunder Awaken taking this series, they have 8, Infamous have 8, Wildcard and 4 Zoomers have 8, Lava and Hikori have 9. So you can still go, like you said, from first to lower bracket in the course of a day. So I don't know. I mean, we got some wild stuff tomorrow. 4 more best of 2s on the schedule, and by the time we're done, these standings could look very, very different. So absolutely don't want to miss out on that. As I said, 4 best of 2s tomorrow afternoon. Same start time as always, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So you are very much welcome to See how those ones pan out. And like I said, anything goes at this point. Any one of these teams, I don't really think we even have clear-cut favorites anymore with how close things are.
No, definitely not. Anybody can make upper bracket at this stage, and that's where who knows? Maybe you start rooting for the underdogs. Say King of Kings, can you take them down? Can you really try your best here in your final game? But honestly, it's just been really fun to watch, as well as Thunder Awaken. I mean, they're backloaded. We're gonna see a lot more of them coming forward here, and we'll have to see if anyone can stop them because they could easily just take that first place spot if no one can stop what they're putting down here. Somebody get rid of the Ember Spirit. Someone stop Matthew.
Oh yeah, you said what? He's played on it all the games except for one since the new patch dropped, I think. So as much as you don't want to ban it, maybe you just have to because he is too damn good on it. Thunder Awaken, as I said, improving to 8-2, and somebody also call up Hikori and ask them what it was that they figured out. They're the only team that's been able to hand Thunder Awaken any kind of loss here.
And we'll have to see if that formula gets solved or if they just wash the rest of playoffs. But who knows?
We'll be finding out tomorrow afternoon. Hope you join us. For now, though, we are going to be hopping off here. So thank you all so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon.